Okay, so I just got back from a 3 mile run. Well, I think I ran probably about 2 miles, and then I walked a little bit in between. But I was pretty proud of myself because I was just really gonna go walk, run 1 mile, and then come back and do a little bit of insanity later. But I don't want to overdo it, so yeah, I ended up running longer, and it's good because I haven't worked out in about 3 days. We've been busy moving things, and then I was also home visiting my parents, which I managed to actually get out and do a little bit of walking there, but not a normal workout like I would like. And then also I've been having problems. I was having problems with my hip, so I wanted to kind of give insanity a break, even though I have about 2.5 weeks left. Actually, I mean, I would be done in about a week and a half, but I needed to take some time off. My body was screaming. It was just telling me it's time to chill out. And sometimes you do. You just need a break. But I started running again today, and that went really well. I actually got a thumbs up on the trail. An older gentleman was walking in front of me, and he gave me a thumbs up when I ran past him, so that felt pretty good. And then I'm leaving today. Baldy and I are leaving today, and we're driving for about 3.5 hours to my family reunion. And so I'm trying to get a workout in before we get in the car, and we're just, sitting down for 3.5 hours. And then also, I just want to get pumped up for an awesome weekend. We're going to be at the beach, and then on Sunday I start my swimming classes. So I'm a little excited and then kind of nervous at the same time about that. But it's going to be what it's going to be. It feels pretty good to finally take the steps to conquering my fear of swimming. And I don't really know if it's a fear of swimming, like actually doing the moves. I think I'm okay with that, but I think it's the whole idea of giving up control, because you have to float on top of water. You can't just walk. You can't just walk in 6 and 8 feet deep water. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm pretty confident that I'll learn something. But aside from that, I'm getting back into working out. I will be doing a shorter insanity video later. I actually missed my, well, I didn't miss it. I skipped a plyometric circuit workout in phase 1. And I'm going to go back and make up for that, especially since I've kind of been out on a hiatus, I guess, for a few days. And so I want to kind of ease back into it instead of going back to max interval. But nonetheless, I'm going to finish insanity. And, it may be that I have to take a few more days off. I don't know how my hip's going to, cooperate. I don't know if it's going to feel worse. Today actually feels pretty good. But, I'm just going to listen to my body. And if it says you need a rest, if I don't really feel like I can give it my best, then I'm just going to kind of take a break or maybe do something not as intense. But I definitely don't want to get to the point where I'm working out less than 3 days a week. That's not cool with me. And, it's just something that I'm already in a habit of working out several days a week, so I don't want to give that up. And I think it's a good habit to have. My body actually misses exercising when I don't do it. So, anyway, I'm going to get some electrolytes from my Vita Coco coconut water with orange, which is really good. I actually prefer this stuff over Gatorade just because it's more natural. And then I also have some edamame for some protein, and plus I just like it. It's a quick little snack after I work out. So anyway, I'm gonna get to that, and I hope you guys are getting in your workouts. I don't know what you're doing, but hopefully you're staying active and staying motivated. So, yeah, I'm going to end it there. All right, so we're in the kitchen, and I'm actually about to make a little mini meal, and I'm just gonna make like a veggie burger wrap today. So what I have veggie patties, and I didn't make these, but I do love these veggie patties that I picked up from Costco. And the cool thing about it is, let me flip this over, is there's very little ingredients in there. So we have fresh vegetables, onions, celery, carrots, bell peppers. We also have garbanzo beans, brown rice flour, sunflower seeds, carrageenan, I don't know what that is, soybean oil, rice starch, salt, and spice. So, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's about 160 calories per patty, and they're pretty big. So I put that in the microwave for about 1 minute, and then I'm actually going to take my flat out whole wheat bread, and then I'm going to do I'm going to put some hummus up here, about maybe 2 tablespoons. Or, you know, you can also use like a spinach artichoke Parmesan dip, or whatever you want to use. I would just say that if you're going to use something like the artichoke dip, or any kind of dips, be mindful of the amount of calories that you're getting. So you might want to do maybe 1 tablespoon instead of 2. If you use this spinach artichoke dip, for 2 tablespoons, it's going to be 90 calories. I measured it out so you guys can see what a tablespoon of hummus looks like. Let me zoom out just to give you an idea of proportion. Because, I mean, it is so important that you really pay attention to how much stuff you're putting in your food. Because it may be that you're thinking that you're eating less when you're really eating more, because you're not really measuring it out. But you know what? I'm actually going to do both. I'm going to do a tablespoon of hummus, and then I'm going to do a tablespoon of artichoke dip. I did 1 tablespoon of my spinach artichoke dip, and then I also did about a tablespoon of my hummus, red pepper hummus, and then I just threw that veggie burger on top of it. So the last thing I'm going to add is a bunch of spinach. And I love adding a lot of vegetables, especially dark green leafy vegetables. They're really good for you. And then the last thing we have to do is to roll this baby up. I was just thinking about my transformation, or kind of my aha epiphany moments of this week. And I've been thinking a lot about my eating habits and kind of how I've evolved over the years. And, you know, I was one of these kids where I was okay with eating baked chicken, and I love fresh vegetables. I could eat them raw, I could eat them steamed, or whatever. You know, that was never an issue for me. I grew up around a lot of fresh food and fresh seafood, and my grandfather was a hunter. He was a farmer, fisherman, carpenter, everything. So, and not just him, it was also other people in my family and in my community. So I grew up around a lot of that, that freshness and knowing where really good food comes from. But I also found that eating a lot of sweets and desserts were, that was an outlet for me. That was an outlet for me to deal with a lot of pain and abuse and things that I was going through when I was growing up. And so I look back at it now, and I can't really say that eating a whole box of Little Debbie's cakes and half a gallon of ice cream and all that stuff in one sitting. I mean, seriously, in one sitting, and I could eat that even after eating a meal. I can't really say that it brought me happiness. I mean, I think physically, like when you look at it scientifically in terms of, you know, what sugar does to your body, and I guess like the whole dopamines and all that stuff, kind of like if you're, I guess, an addict, and your body is just craving that thing that kind of takes away the pain. I guess physically it took away some of the pain, but mentally, emotionally, I can't really say that it did anything for me. I think eventually it just became a default. It became one of those things that I did just to, I don't know, I guess just to take my mind off of whatever was going on. And so, that became that thing that I just did for a long, long time. And then, at 253 pounds, graduated from high school at that weight, that was pretty much the end of the road for me in terms of dealing with those emotions, because my environment changed. So I wasn't in the same environment that was causing all that pain. Once I graduated from high school, I went off to college, and it was like, whoa, now I got to deal with these emotions in a different way. Now I really have to acknowledge what's happening to a degree, and that was just really confusing. But it was also a breakthrough, and I didn't have that dependency on sweets and sugary things as much. And it was mostly just desserts and stuff. And I still, don't get me wrong, I still go back and I have binges, and I have days when, that kind of food becomes my default. And a lot of times what I'm finding lately is that when I don't really know what's wrong, or I haven't really quite processed the emotions of whatever I'm feeling, I tend to wander. I tend to go back to that default, and usually is grabbing cakes and cookies or whatever else I can get. And it's not that I want it. It's not that I'm craving it. It's just a default. So now it's like I have to try to figure out a way I have to find a healthier substitute for that. And so one of the things I did yesterday is I was at Target, and I usually go there just out of habit. When I'm there, there's a cupcake that I usually get, and so I got the cupcake even though I didn't really want it, but it was okay. Like, it was a nice little treat, I guess. But my thing was, I said, you know what, you're gonna make a deal with yourself. If you don't drink at least 2 liters of water, then you don't get to have this cupcake, basically. So the idea of having to really make myself do something healthy before I self-destruct to an extent, that was a pretty good activity or thing for me, because it slowed down the whole process. And you know what, by the time I finished drinking those 2 liters of water, I didn't really want the cupcake. I mean, I still ate it later, but it wasn't like an urgency. It wasn't like, oh, I have to eat this cupcake or whatever because I'm feeling down, or I'm feeling, I don't know what's going on, or I'm feeling emotionally, out of place right now. So, it's a pretty good feeling to be able to process these things and to also have a more positive outlet. And when you're going throughout your journey, especially if you are dealing with abuse, or you're in a bad relationship, or you're dealing with a lot of negative feelings, and food is that outlet for you, the hardest thing sometimes is really just acknowledging what's happening, and acknowledging, the root of the problem. And, it's always going to be a struggle to an extent, but it's only going to be a struggle to the point of how you make it that struggle. Because if you continue to stay in that negative mindset of whatever is bothering you, and you don't try to find a solution, then you're always going to be stuck. You're always going to feel that way. You're not going to make progress. And I'm not going to say that, all the work that you've done so far in your journey is worthless. It's not. But it's just going to be that much harder to be productive, So, I don't know. I've just been doing a lot of thinking about that kind of stuff lately. And the more I put things into perspective, the healthier choices that I'm making. And, it feels pretty good. It feels pretty good to be in that mindset now, and to know what in the heck is going on. And even when I don't know what's going on, I don't want my default to always be to head out to McDonald's and get two apple turnovers, and a chocolate dip cone, and all this stuff. I mean, seriously. And I'll talk more about my sugar binges in later videos. But it's serious. It's a pretty serious habit to have, and I know I'm not the only one. So that's why I get on these videos. That's why I make these videos, to share this information with you guys. Because if you're struggling with a similar addiction, or a similar way of dealing with your pain, or whatever's bothering you, I really hope these videos help you into putting things into perspective. So yeah, I'm gonna end it there. And I hope that you were able to take something away from that. So, anyway, take care and enjoy your weekend.